connected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S. Ethos.com/Mike.
If you have an IRA or 401k, this is a message you really need to hear. In just the last 2 years, the price of 1 troy ounce of silver has more than doubled, and silver is now poised for major gains in the months ahead. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD to learn how to convert a portion of your retirement assets into physical silver and position yourself for the next wave of growth in precious metals. It's not too late to leverage the power of silver to help secure your financial future. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
President Trump has pardoned Binance founder, cryptocurrency king CZ Zhao. The BBC's Michelle Fleury is in New York.
2 years earlier, CZ, as he's also known, pled guilty to money laundering-related charges. Binance paid a record $4.3 billion fine, and its global crypto exchange was banned from operating in the U.S. Posting on social media, CZ vowed to help make America the capital of crypto. Before the pardon, Zhao's companies had partnered with Trump-linked firms on new digital currency projects, including the World Liberty stablecoin and Dominari Holdings, which is based in Trump Tower.
The White House says the Biden administration pursued an egregious over-sentencing in this case and was very hostile to the cryptocurrency industry. And Mr. Trump wants to correct this overreach, according to a White House statement. News and analysis, townhall.com. As the world of sports is reeling over gambling allegations, officials say the instigators allegedly came up with novel ways of cheating.
A poker cheating ring involving pro sports figures and allegedly the mafia used a series of high-tech tactics. They included shuffling machines that could determine who held what cards and sent that information with someone off-site who then shared it with a player who would signal other players how to proceed. Other tactics, an X-ray table that could determine who held what cards and cameras hidden in the trays that held the players' chips. Jason Walker reporting.
The Trump administration has finalized a plan to open the coastal plain of Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil and gas exploration. It's going to be at least 4 lease sales within the refuge over 10 years. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to the John Fredericks Media Network. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are joined in studio by the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. She brings light and fun to our show every time she's on. The one, the only, E.J. Haast. Welcome, E.J.
Good morning and happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Well, it's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Here we go. Here is the Morning Rundown for Friday, October 24th, 2025. Number 1, the ballroom blitz continues. Yes, they're building a beautiful ballroom, a big, beautiful ballroom that will seat 1,000 people, not the measly 200 they get in there right now. It's funded by Donald Trump and private donors, but what do you call him? Dime Store Obama, Peso Store Obama? Hakeem Jeffries wants to investigate the donors.
Of course he did.
Of course he does. Number 2, the NBA gambling scandal expands. It's really pretty bad. Not only did a player throw the game, one of the coaches now, a Hall of Famer, Chauncey Billups, was what they call a face card in gambling by mafia types. Yeah.
It's sad. He took advantage of players.
Well, he took advantage of the fish.
Yeah.
The fish who came in, they wanted to gamble with him.
Right.
And these were games that were rigged, and he was there because people want to.
Is anybody else shocked that the Gambino family is still a thing?
Yeah.
I thought that was like in the heaps of history and only in movies.
These are allegations.
Yeah.
He's innocent till proven guilty. And maybe he'll, not be convicted, but it doesn't sound good for Chauncey Billups. Number 3, I love this. Stephen K. Bannon yesterday had a lengthy interview with, a couple of the regime media editors at The Economist. That's the globalist, London-based purveyors of, the way the quote establishment wants to look at the world. He said a couple things. Number one, he said that the Democrat Party stands for crime, chaos, and cultural collapse. He's quite right about that. That's their objective. But also, and he's tweaking everybody with this, he said Donald Trump will have a third term as president. But. The 22nd Amendment says a president can only be elected to 2 terms. Yes, that's true. How are you going to fix that, Mr. Bannon? We'll tell you when the time's right, he says. I know what he's doing here. We'll talk about that in a bit. Number 4, Tim Burchett. You like Tim Burchett, don't you, Congressman Tim
One of
Burchett?
my favorites, yeah.
He will be here. He will be in the House.
Yeah, I might stick
in hour
around.
3. Hour
really?
3.
Love
yeah.
that guy.
And so he'll be here in the House in hour 3 for half an hour in studio. That'll be fun. Speaking of fun people in studio, number 5, Roger Simon will be here in the second hour. He'll talk about the great genocide hoax and many other things. He'll talk about the Israel-Gaza peace deal, which may or may not be falling apart. It wouldn't surprise me if it falls apart.
Yeah, Rubio jumped on a plane to get over there yesterday.
Yeah.
So
They're tag teaming it. J.D. Vance and Usha, who apparently Jen Psaki doesn't like.
Who?
Yeah, who? At number 6, did you see these ads on NFL football games? It was Ronald Reagan talking about how tariffs are bad in the long term. Sponsored by the province of Ontario. Mm-hmm. Well, Donald Trump didn't like those ads. And so now he's cut off all trade negotiations with Canada.
I play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
There you go.
Like, what's your point in those ads? That's just silly.
So there you go. That's the morning rundown for Friday, October 24th, 2025. You know what's brought to you by?
The Glock Store.
The Glock Store. Did you know, EJ, that in addition to selling more Glock handguns than any other retail company in the country, that they also give away more Glocks than any other retailer? They continually run sweepstakes that give away Glocks, and this month is no exception. At the Glock Store, October is, wait for it, Glocktober, and they're giving away the winner's choice of any stock factory Glock handgun. That's up to $620 value, and it's all free, including shipping to your nearest FFL. Now, the easiest way to enter, just buy one of the GS limited edition pumpkin-themed stickers or patches. You'll then be automatically entered into the sweepstakes, 1 entry per sticker, 2 entries per patch. There's complete information as well as a no-cost entry method on the Glocktober giveaway page at glockstore.com/GG. That's our friend Lenny McGill. It's not enough that he's known all over the world as that Glock guy. Now he's getting known as that Glock giveaway guy. If you've always wanted a Glock, and especially a free Glock, visit glockstore.com today. All right, I got this clip. I love it. It's Stephen K. Bannon with the regime weasels at The Economist. Clip 11. He's tweaking him. Let's go.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off.
Okay, so what do you think Steve Bannon's doing there with these weasels at The Economist?
I think you can take it a couple of different ways. He either means he's going to be working behind the scenes with whoever is the president, kind of the shadow government thing, kind of like Obama did with Biden, right? That sort of thing. or he means to simply play with them and make them go bananas. And it's like
He loves that.
Yeah, he does. He like it lends me to think that he's just playing around with them. He wants them to go crazy. He's going to steal some headlines, and he wants them to go bananas. We're not going to eliminate the 22nd.
No, we're not. But would you like the rest of the story?
Tell me the theory.
Well, Bannon is what we call the tip of the spear.
Okay.
Right? And he is also a maximalist. What does that mean? He pushes everything to the edge to move things forward.
Overton window.
Right? So, what is he? I'll tell you exactly what his plan is. He's not going to reveal it. He's going to have it dangling.
Sure.
It'll be dangling until probably January.
You know where he learned that? Andrew Breitbart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because politics is downstream from culture, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing about what he's going to do. I think what he's going to do is say the ticket in 2028 will be Vance Trump. And then after Vance is elected as president and Trump is elected as vice president, Vance will be sworn in. He will resign like 5 minutes later, and the inaugural address will be given by President Donald Trump. That's his plan.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm telling you what his plan is.
I know what the plan sounds like. There were lots of...
You don't think it'll happen?
No, absolutely not. No. There were lots of conspiracies about that sort of thing a long time ago.
It's a strategy. We'll be back with more after this.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Executive Director of the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund, and this is a Live Free Minute. Just this month, an illegal immigrant in Virginia was convicted of raping an 11-year-old girl after breaking into her home. On any given day, there are hundreds of illegal immigrants in Virginia jails who have committed violent crimes. Yet there are politicians who openly advocate for protecting these criminal illegal immigrants and who wish to make Virginia a sanctuary for them. Our constitutional republic is dependent on adherence to the rule of law. Our founders could not have imagined that there would be politicians who would be so bold as to campaign against it. I encourage you to vote this election to protect public safety and the rule of law. This Live Free Minute is sponsored by the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund. We empower Americans to live free. And for more information, go to acruaction.com.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
Ghazala Hashmi is masquerading as a moderate, but she's really a dangerous far-left radical. The facts? Crazy far-left groups bankroll Ghazala Hashmi's campaign, and Hashmi repeatedly voted for taxpayer-funded tuition and driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. She even co-sponsored legislation to lower the penalties for criminals who assault police officers and firefighters. Ghazala Hashmi, masquerading as a moderate, too radical for Virginia.
I'm John Reed, candidate for Lieutenant Governor, and I sponsored this ad. Have you looked at your power bill lately? Electricity prices are at all-time highs, and they're only going up. Even worse, power outages are becoming more and more common. In fact, according to the Department of Energy, blackouts could increase 10,000% over the next few years. If you don't have a backup generator for your home, it's time to get one. But gas generators, they're loud, high maintenance, and they produce dangerous exhaust fumes. The Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from My Patriot Supply is different. It's whisper quiet, requires no fuel, and it's safe to use indoors. Yet, it delivers enough power to run almost anything in your home. Best of all, you can get a Grid Doctor 3300 for $0 down and as little as $104 a month when you shop at MyPatriotSupply.com. That's right, 3,300 watts of backup power delivered to your door for as little as $104 per month. See the page for more details at MyPatriotSupply.com. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I'm Chanel Sheeran, and I'm honored to share a special invitation on behalf of Senator Mark Pody. Mark would like to personally invite you to his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Go to markpody.com. This is a time to gather as neighbors, celebrate our values, look ahead to all God has in store for our future together. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director in Washington, D.C. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith at the center of everything he does. He stands firmly for faith, family, and freedom, supporting our schools, teachers, protecting our children, and community safety. So bring your friends, your family, and your faith, and come celebrate with us on October 25th. Together, through our diligence and prayer, we can keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative. Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. EJ, Democrats are now, the leadership of the Democratic Party, they're pretty much caricatures of, cartoon villains.
Yeah.
It seems to me.
That's a great description.
And Peso Store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, he's upset because generous patriots have donated, along with Trump, $250 million to fix the East Wing of the White House. Now, the East Wing is not the East Room.
Right.
The East Wing is sort of not much.
Yeah, it's offices, or it was.
Yeah.
It's completely gone now. I had a feeling this was going to take off just because they're apoplectic. They cannot believe that we would tear down, and they're calling it this historical building and all this. They're demolishing the White House. Let's put things in perspective. First of all, East Wing, it's where a lot of the events offices are. It is like where tours begin and some things like that.
Kind of a dumpy place.
It is. It's not anything particularly special. Yes, they decorated at Christmas, but it's got low ceilings. It was built in 1940s, 42-ish, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an older part of the White House, but not particularly anything special or historic there. They're tearing it down, and they're going to put in this beautiful ballroom.
90,000 square feet.
Right. And of course it is going to mirror the structure of the White House and be more beautiful than the current East Wing.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, the West Wing could use an upgrade also.
No kidding.
So this is like, it's not a surprise. It's not the residences. It's not the historical thing. I do find this really interesting, though. The same people who are losing their minds over the White House being upgraded, forget everybody's posting about historical things that have happened over the years, upgrades and everything that many presidents have done. These are the same people who were tearing down statues of Christopher Columbus and Thomas Jefferson and didn't bat an eye. In fact, they celebrated it.
Yeah.
So cry me a river over your all of a sudden you care about history nonsense. You don't. And this is going to be a beautiful addition to the White House.
So Hakeem Jeffries was crying himself a river.
Yep.
He wants to investigate the donors. I kid you not. Clip number 1.
More likely, this is part of what Donald Trump has been doing since day one of his presidency, running the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country, and probably soliciting donations from people who've got business before the United States government. And all of this is going to have to be investigated. It will. All of this will have to be uncovered. It will. And these people are going to be held accountable. No matter how long it takes.
So they're going to basically, a donor gives money to refurbish the White House. And now these ridiculous Democrats have decided they're going to investigate them and see if they can find a crime there.
Yeah. You know what this reveals? They don't have any giving, any charity in their hearts at all.
No.
Really, if you want to know how they really feel, look at what they accuse Republicans of doing. They don't understand the concept of just donation.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. Think about all the NGOs, USAID. Think about how they use government as charity. They don't even understand the concept of, hey, I'd really love my company's name on a brick at the White House. That's probably what's happening, right? Is like Meta and I mean, they're losing their minds because Comcast is one of them.
Comcast, yeah.
So like Rachel Maddow and the rest are losing their brains
Investigate.
over it. Like, I can't believe my company would do this. Why wouldn't you want it? Like, they should sell a brick to American people and say the path leading up to this beautiful ballroom. Buy a brick, have your
I'd
name
buy
on
a
the White
brick.
House. I would do it.
I'd buy a brick.
Right? So, but they don't understand the concept of real charity. They don't understand that people are patriotic and want to just do good things.
Well, you know, the Democrats are just unserious people. And as an example of that, they are soulless, they are humorless, and they hate America. I think I've probably understated how bad they are.
Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot.
Oh, gosh.
One
of the worst.
The former mayor of Chicago had this to say about, in essence, nullification of the Constitution by states. Let's go. Clip 5.
We start the process of unmasking the agents. Even though they're wearing masks, every single one of them has a towel.
You say unmasking, they're going to say you're going to dox them, and that's why threats against them are up.
They are on public property, out in the open. We have an absolute right under our Constitution to be able to document what's happening. Every single one of those agents, height, weight, hair color, they wear their vests in a particular way. They're wearing insignias. Even the masks that they wear, the shoes that they wear, the cars that they're driving. We have a right to compile that information and put together a profile of each of these agents that's alleged to have committed crime. This is not about doxing them. This is not about putting them in danger, and I'm sure we're going to
Yeah, it's solely about putting them in danger. It's obstruction of justice.
Of course it is.
By the way, Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, is going to make a call on her today.
Good.
And look, I think that what she said there, that sounds to me a lot like a crime.
And you know what else? It is their massive desire for the surveillance state.
Mm-hmm.
They want to track all of our
Everybody.
movements.
Yeah.
And this is
especially
another way to
federal
do it.
law enforcement agents enforcing immigration
It's
law.
just sick. It's really deranged.
You know, the other thing about Democrat leaders today is they lie with a straight face. Here is Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois last night lying through his teeth about the murder rate in Chicago on air live before Brett Baer, Fox News. Here we go, clip 7.
They're doing everything by the book. Why does Chicago have the highest murder rate of all the big cities? Well, we are not in the top 30 in terms of our murder rate. Indeed,
well,
our murder rate it has been cut in half over the last 4 years, and every year it's gone down by double digits. And if you look at all of the violent crime over the last 4 years,
here's a map.
The map shows that Chicago is number one.
17.47 per 100,000 population. Chicago is number one over Philadelphia, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix, Los Angeles, New York, and San Diego.
What I'm explaining to you
now,
is
you're
when
talking
you want to
about
fight
violent
crime. Look, you can pull statistics up.
No,
I can
these are
too.
murders.
I'm explaining to you that our murder rate has been cut in half. And very importantly, Brett, and you got to hear this, very importantly, we've been doing the things that are necessary to bring crime down, right?
Okay, so lie.
They know nothing else. They don't know. I mean, shame on his people preparing him for this show that he didn't know that they were number one.
Oh, he knows.
I don't.
No.
He truly believes it.
No, he knows.
He's terrible.
He's a liar.
Lying. Yeah.
He's a liar. That's the problem.
But that's so we've had now 3 clips in a row of these terrible people who just have a hatred for America.
Yeah.
And they will do anything to sow chaos and destruction across our country. That's dangerous.
Let's go on to another clip 2. A state representative from Texas, Jolanda Jones. She wants to, well, here we go. Let's go with Jolanda.
Doesn't work. I'm from the hood, okay? So when a bully comes, like, if there are no rules, you literally have to figure it out. So Donald Trump has changed things, and people trying to do what's always been done is not going to work. And I think that's why Democrats are losing black people. That's why they're losing poor people, because poor people, all they want is for us to fight. So if you hit me in my face, I'm not going to punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck.
Yeah, and she made a slashing motion.
Yeah.
This is the Democrat. This is all very dangerous.
Very dangerous. And I promise you, poor people don't want to be slashing people's necks. Poor people want a good living. They want to survive with their families, and they want something better for their kids than they had for themselves.
Another
It's a
leftist
shame
said
on you that's
the
your
model
thought.
that white liberals should use is John Brown, who basically attacked a federal installation in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, and killed federal troops. He was an abolitionist. He was convicted and hung by the state of Virginia, as well he should have been. That's the model they want. We'll be back with more trouble in the NBA. Back after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
If you plan on voting for the Republicans in Virginia in November, vote early. That is the key to victory. Let's hear what Governor Youngkin has to say.
We have to get the vote out, and you have to vote early. Something could happen on Election Day, and you will miss it, and we can't afford to miss it. SecureYourVoteVirginia.com is ready to help you make a plan to vote early. Get out and vote. Every single vote counts. Go to SecureYourVoteVirginia.com and make a plan to vote early.
Early voting is underway. The time to vote is now. Paid for by Spirit of Virginia.
Ghazala Hashmi is masquerading as a moderate, but she's really a dangerous far-left radical. The facts? Crazy far-left groups bankroll Ghazala Hashmi's campaign, and Hashmi repeatedly voted for taxpayer-funded tuition and driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. She even co-sponsored legislation to lower the penalties for criminals who assault police officers and firefighters. Ghazala Hashmi, masquerading as a moderate, too radical for Virginia.
I'm John Reed, candidate for Lieutenant Governor, and I sponsored this ad.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Mamdani visited a very controversial Brooklyn mosque just months after the imam there called for the annihilation of Israel. Your thoughts?
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party to confront this kid with his own background. He's a rabid socialist.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Frederick Media Network.
He gave the finger to the Columbus statue.
Right. I can't almost think of any group he hasn't offended.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Be Fur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet's spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BeFurandAfterGrooming.com. Be Fur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. EJ, have you followed the big gambling arrests in the NBA yesterday? It's stunning. It's been a long time since there's been such a high-profile gambling investigation. I think the last time was when Pete Rose was kicked out of Major League Baseball for betting on games that his team was playing.
Well, and the referees, the NBA referees scandal.
The NBA referee scandal,
big,
that was about 20 years ago. And then in the 1950s, there was a college basketball scandal. This is as big or maybe bigger.
Massive.
It's bigger.
It's massive. So like 34 arrests now so far.
Mm-hmm.
This is a massive scandal. Kash Patel gave a press conference yesterday to kind of give some details. And, it's hard to find anything to defend in all of it because it's so bad. So essentially there were
these are allegations.
Allegations that there were illegal poker games happening, that there was, of course, cheating at these illegal poker games and taking advantage of people who were not in on the ring.
The fish.
Right? The fish.
And the setup guys were NBA players, and Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and a Hall of Famer player, was apparently one of the face cards, and he knew, according to the allegations, that the poker games were rigged against the fish.
Of course.
But
Listen,
then-
it's so in-depth, too. The technology involved, special glasses, special cards, and card shufflers.
The allegations.
Yeah, it's very sophisticated.
This is a
entire
movie.
ring. Right. And
This is a big-time movie.
Going to be several movies and documentaries about it, no doubt. But very interesting kind of the way it all plays out, because money laundering is part of this also. And then the biggest scandal that sports fans will be worried about, of course, is the fact that games were thrown, or I shouldn't say games were thrown. They're alleging that players, in particular,
Terry Rozier,
Yep.
who's made like $180 million playing in the NBA.
Right.
He's had some really strong years,
Right.
averaging around 20 points a game.
But supposedly his game has fallen apart the last couple of years, and now you can see it. The clips are coming out everywhere of him, faking an injury, making a bad pass that is just kind of juvenile and unrealistic. That an NBA player would do
make a
something
bad
so
pass like
awful.
that.
So so those are the allegations that these folks are gonna have to face when the FBI and the DOJ come down on them. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah. Okay. So that is going to be real bad. But what's interesting about this is, for some reason, Stephen A. Smith, who's,
He's always got the hottest takes, doesn't he?
the hot take. This is
yeah.
the thing about sports guys. They may not know everything or know anything, but they certainly have a take.
Yeah.
In sports, sports radio is so different than news talk, because here we talk about politics all the time. And it's based on facts and stories. But in sports, it's opinion. It's all opinion.
All opinion all the time.
Most sports writers, most sports broadcasters are far left.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them are
for
far
sure.
left.
A lot of that came out, in Trump's first term with
Yeah.
the ESPN and all of that. But this Stephen A. Smith in particular, you know why I can't listen to him?
Tell
And
me
several
why.
others.
Yeah.
There's some others too. And anybody who watches sports broadcasting will understand it. They yell at you.
Yeah.
We sit here and have a conversation with our audience, with
Yeah, it
each
kinda
other.
wears you out.
Stephen A. Smith in particular just yells at you have a microphone. You don't have to yell.
He has a take.
Yeah.
And it's a very passionate take.
Very passionate.
And he's very impressed with himself. He's making He makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's been very successful. He's friends with Sean Hannity.
I was just going to say he's got some conservative folks who prop him up, and I don't understand why.
Well, I think
He's popular. He's very, very popular.
He's
on the
okay.
left.
Let me put it that way. He's okay, but he's very much he kind of shoots off the handle.
Yeah.
And this is an example. So here is his take based on nothing.
Yeah. So
about
to set it up, we're coming into this clip about a minute and a half into it. When he starts his little rant here, the first thing he says is, Trump is coming. Now, he's just been asked about the NBA scandal.
Yeah.
Right? Where people are being accused of dealing with legitimate mafia crime families. Okay? Like, these are big allegations. And his first thought is, it's Trump's fault.
Yeah. Okay. Stephen A. Smith will play this clip right now.
Today, I'm watching a press conference with the director of the FBI. Tell me when we've seen that. We've seen we've seen accusations before. We've seen athletes get in trouble with the law before. You don't see the director of the FBI having a press conference. It's not coincidental. It's not an accident. It's a statement. And it's a warning that more is coming. And that's what they're saying here. And everybody better, I'm just telling you, it's as serious as it gets. This ain't the platform for me to get into it the way I'm going to get into it. But I've been saying he's coming. He's coming. Because in his eyes, folks try to throw him in jail. In his eyes, he's innocent. They try to put me behind bars. I'm getting everybody. He's not playing. And so this, in a lot of people's eyes, talk to people in the NBA, talk to people in the NFL, talk to people in the world of sports. They think this is like the tip of the iceberg. These are the kind of words that are coming out of people's mouths. It's not a surprise.
So we can't take anymore. This is all pure made-up speculation.
Sure, but also, what's wrong with Kash Patel doing what he's doing? For Stephen A. Smith to somehow act like this is unprecedented because the FBI is giving a press conference? I'm sorry, but don't we want more transparency with our FBI? And here we're getting it. And to not mention at all the allegations. Yes, this probably is the tip of the iceberg. Explain to me why it shouldn't be. Because if other leagues are doing this stuff, if the crime families are in the NFL or they're in my NHL, which I love my hockey.
Gambling's coming to the NHL.
But I know.
Yeah.
But do you see the problem with all of this? And of course, they announced that now collegiate athletes and staff, as of yesterday, they're announcing that they can bet on professional sports. Like, what could possibly go wrong? I get it. It's legal. It doesn't mean it's right.
So here is the approach that Stephen A. Smith took here, right? He did not look at any evidence. He just sat in a room and thought about stuff, right? And so he says, Trump, was persecuted by the Department of Justice under Biden, so therefore he's obviously coming after NBA players,
right?
Who have nothing to do with that persecution.
The most illogical argument.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Now, Kash Patel heard that, and he set Stephen A. Smith right. Here we go. Let's play this clip.
Yeah, down the street. By the way, this was so wild. Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator, suggested that this was revenge from the president for all the kind of left-wing activism of the NBA. Your response to that, 15 seconds.
I'm the FBI director. I decide which arrests to conduct and which not to conduct. That may be the single dumbest thing I've ever heard out of anyone in modern history, and I live most of my time in Washington, D.C. It's right up there with Adam Schiff. We arrest people for crimes.
That's fantastic.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Kash, I'll tell you what. I think Kash had a slow start.
Yeah.
But he's doing pretty good
He had
right
a
now.
rocky start, for
Yeah.
sure. But I will also say this. Does anybody think that this investigation was just, the last year or so?
No, it's been going on for some time. Yeah.
Of course, this was happening for a long time. You don't just make 34 arrests, including big names in the NBA and the Gambino crime family.
My
on a
advice
whim.
to any NBA player or head coach in the NBA, it is a very bad idea to gamble in a poker game with mafia figures.
You think?
It's just bad. Now, apparently, the other name that's been pulled into this scandal, LeBron James. Here we go. Clip 3. Let's play this clip from ESPN.
There's also a layer of insider information with Damon Jones. Where does that come into play?
Yeah, when Jones was a kind of an unofficial assistant coach with the Lakers, this goes back to 2022-2023 season, there was a game between the Lakers and Milwaukee Bucks on February 9th. He relayed to one of the bettors that was named in the indictment today to get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight because a prominent player was going to sit out. Now, the indictment does not name the player, but the details of that were included do match Lakers' LeBron James, who did not play in that game. Now, James has not been accused of any wrongdoing, and according to sources told they're close to him, James was unaware of any kind of activity involving gambling that Jones was taking part of.
So the problem here, though, is, and it may this gets back to the issue of the integrity of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And let's no one has said LeBron James has been involved.
Nope, he was not arrested. He has not been named by name in any of the.
But if somebody is in the Lakers organization and they know he's injured and it's not public, and they share that information with the gambler,
right?
The integrity of the game, at least the integrity of the gambling operation,
sure,
is blown to smithereens.
Yeah,
and that's the problem they have right now.
What would be really cool is if this opens the eyes of young people who are enamored with these apps now.
And they do. There are a lot of them that are just kind of hooked on it.
They are. I mean, young men are hooked, and it's
not a good thing.
Dangerous. So
Yeah.
hopefully this will open their eyes and they'll realize the game is rigged against them.
We'll be back with more. We've got the fascinating statement from Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
About baby trafficking.
Incredible roundtable meeting yesterday.
Wow. Back after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Do you think workers in Virginia should be forced to pay union dues to get or keep a job? 80% of Virginians say no. Winsome Earl Sears agrees. She has pledged total opposition to forced unionism, but Abigail Spanberger has repeatedly sought to overturn Virginia's long-standing right-to-work protections for workers. That's why big labor is funneling piles of cash into Abigail Spanberger's campaign coffers. Demand she defend worker choice and support right-to-work. Call Abigail Spanberger, 804-223-0770, paid for by the National Right-to-Work Committee.
Warning, if you're thinking about surgery to fix your chronic joint pain, stop, because surgery can be risky, painful, and come with a lengthy recovery time. But there is an alternative, a groundbreaking therapy that revitalizes damaged tissue with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics has successfully treated tens of thousands of patients, freeing them from pain in their knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints. Before you resort to invasive surgery, find out if you're a candidate for this advanced regenerative therapy by calling 757-239-3518. Don't let chronic pain dictate your life any longer, and don't risk surgery. Learn more about the joint pain therapy endorsed by professional athletes and available now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. To find out if you're eligible, request a free consultation from QC Kinetics. You owe it to yourself to learn more about this surgery-free alternative with no drugs and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today, 757-239-3518, 757-239-3518.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous. Woo.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
Chanel Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, E.J. Host. E.J., there was another one of these sort of roundtable meetings in the White House yesterday. Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard had something just stunning to say. I'll play this clip and then get your reaction.
The most insidious was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you in the midst of this government shutdown, our folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission that you have presented to
Okay,
them.
so this is a baby trafficking deal. They would lure pregnant women.
Horrific.
Do C-sections, take the babies, sell the babies.
Sell the baby organs.
Oh.
She said organs.
Babies and the organs, or just
yeah.
kill the babies and sell the
Yeah,
organs?
yeah. So really
Oh,
horrible.
that's really
yeah, and
beyond
and
that.
sell babies as well. So yeah, just really disgusting.
Beyond disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, evil. Fitting. The name is El Diablo.
El Diablo. A good point. Okay. So here is another, just a breaking story. I want to talk to you about it.
Okay.
And it's from Governor Bill Lee. Governor Lee warns SNAP customers, that's food stamps basically. There's 40 million Americans that get food stamps. Did you know that?
Yep.
That many.
Yeah.
Governor Bill Lee warns SNAP customers to expect lapse in benefits due to Democrat-led federal government shutdown. Today, Governor Bill Lee warned SNAP customers to expect a lapse in benefits on their cards beginning November 1st because congressional Democrats have not voted to end the government shutdown. Now, why is this important?
Well, 1 in 10 Tennesseans are receiving some sort of benefit from the SNAP program. That's a really high number.
Very high.
For a place that has some of the most expensive neighborhoods in the country, the gap between those who need the help and those who are wealthy is really, really big in our state.
There have been some social media clips from recipients of SNAP, which they have threatened to storm into food stores and steal the food.
Yeah.
And basically attack anybody that gets in their way.
Yeah.
Now, is that a serious threat, EJ, or is that just like a social media thing?
Oh, no. I think people will do it. I think people will do it, and then it'll become a kind of social media kind of firestorm a little bit. If it takes off, if we get 1 or 2 little viral videos, it could become really ugly. This is why I say the things that the Democrats are doing right now are dangerous. They want this color revolution, if you know what that is. They want, quite honestly, like a civil war. They want to have versus have-nots war, and that's very dangerous.
So we said earlier that, as Stephen K. Bannon told The Economist, the Democrat Party is for crime, chaos, and cultural collapse.
Yes.
I think you understand this shutdown. It doesn't make any sense if you think of it in traditional politics.
Sure.
Because the Democrats are not winning in traditional politics.
That's 100% true.
I think they're in favor of cultural collapse. I think they want food stores to be stormed
They do.
violently on November 1st.
Yep. Yep. I think they think it will help their cause, and it'll just make Republicans roll over and say, okay, we'll give you your ACA benefits. Remember, all of this is stemming from the Affordable Care Act, which shouldn't stand on its own. It can't stand on its own. The Democrats want the subsidies to continue, the tax breaks to continue.
They don't expire until December 31st. So
right.
So that's a little bit of
So
a
it's bizarre,
disingenuous,
isn't
yeah.
it? But why did they set expiration dates in there to begin with?
Yeah.
The Democrats formulated this thing, they passed this bill on their own, and they're the ones who put the expiration dates in there. So to blame Republicans for saying, nah, your program isn't working is nonsense.
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think this deal, the shutdown is not going to be solved before November 1st.
Probably not.
There will be a crisis, and there will be instances of potential violence at food stores on November 1st.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm going to say. If you're an executive with Kroger, if you're anywhere, what you need to do is you need to have a plan.
Yep.
And the plan is, okay, guys, you need to have a financing mechanism to finance certain SNAP elements. And when somebody comes in, a SNAP recipient, and they want to pay, go over to this table. Here's the stuff you can get. We have got you financed because we know we're going to get paid
Right.
ultimately.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Ultimately, they're going to get paid.
So
and make it, good quality meat,
Basics.
vegetables, basics, milk, eggs. That's fine.
What we need to do next week is we need to get the CEO of Kroger and any food store
And
here,
Publix and-
have them come
yep.
on the show and say, are you ready for what's going to happen to your stores on November 1st?
Yeah, Tennesseans tend to be a little less violent in general.
But still-
but we will see it in Chicago. We'll
You'll-
see it in LA.
You won't see it in Memphis.
Yeah, probably not.
EJ Haast,
Yes, sir.
as always. Look at all the
Thank
stuff
you.
we covered.
Big day, big Friday.
Friday's fun. Roger Simon is next. And then in hour 3, Congressman Tim Burchett will be in the house. How about that? Back after this.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced Nutrition Company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to HealthyCell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's HealthyCell.com. HealthyCell.com.
Ghazala Hashmi is masquerading as a moderate, but she's really a dangerous far-left radical. The facts? Crazy far-left groups bankroll Ghazala Hashmi's campaign, and Hashmi repeatedly voted for taxpayer-funded tuition and driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. She even co-sponsored legislation to lower the penalties for criminals who assault police officers and firefighters. Ghazala Hashmi, masquerading as a moderate, too radical for Virginia.
I'm John Reed, candidate for Lieutenant Governor, and I sponsored this ad.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Making good on his pledge of no refuge or forgiveness, only justice for narco-terrorists, War Secretary Hegseth says another suspected drug-running boat has been blasted from the water in the Caribbean. This one, 6 people on board, said to have been operated by Tren de Aragua. President Trump strikes an optimistic note ahead of his upcoming talks with his Chinese counterpart.
The two leaders will be meeting soon at a regional summit in South Korea, and President Trump predicts a successful trade outcome.
I expect we'll probably work out a very fair deal with President Xi of China.
In particular, the president wants China to buy more soybeans from American farmers. He has threatened massive tariffs on Chinese imports if a deal isn't reached. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Day 24 of the government shutdown. Senate Democrats have blocked a GOP measure would have guaranteed pay for essential federal workers and the troops during the remainder of the shutdown. If you have some nagging doubts about gambling, you're not alone.
As sports betting expands, polling suggests Americans have become increasingly critical of its role in U.S. society and sports, although they're more tolerant of legal betting for professional sports. A recent Pew Research Center poll found about 43% of U.S. adults say the fact that sports betting is now legal in much of the country is a bad thing for society and sports. That's up from about 34% who said so in July of 2022. Bob Wagner reporting.
Social Security recipients will get a 2.8% cost of living boost next year. It's an average of $56 per month. The newly released September Consumer Price Index shows inflation continuing to cool, setting the stage for another likely Fed interest rate cut. And on Wall Street, the Dow is up 394 points, the NASDAQ ahead 231 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
The Pentagon has a revamped press corps operating under new rules announced recently by the White House and War Secretary Hegseth.
Last week was the deadline for all journalists to sign up to this new reporting policy, which, amongst other things, included a clause that said employees, including people in the military, could only say things to the media that have been pre-approved by the department. Journalists were also told they're not allowed to ask for any information that hadn't been pre-approved. Now, the Trump administration said these changes were needed to crack down on leaks that could put the U.S. in danger. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Pentagon access was a privilege, not a right, while Donald Trump called the press dishonest and disruptive.
The BBC's Will Chalk. Tropical storm Melissa is stationary in the central Caribbean. Forecasters warn it could soon strengthen and brush past Jamaica as a powerful hurricane. News and analysis at townhall.com. Tesla recalling more than 63,000 Cybertrucks in the U.S.
The front lights are too bright, which may cause a distraction to other drivers and increase the risk of a collision. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that the recall includes certain Cybertrucks with a model year between 2024 and 2026. The vehicles were made between November 13th, 2023 and October 11th, 2025, with operating software versions prior to 2025.38.3. The agency said that Tesla is not aware of any collisions, injuries, or fatalities related to the condition. Keith Peters, Washington.
President Trump is preparing for his trip to Japan and South Korea. He's expected to promote an epic windfall in investments for U.S. factories and various other kinds of projects. Two countries have made combined pledges totaling about $900 billion. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
It's Friday, so it's going to be fun in hour two. And here in studio, my former boss at PJTV, Academy Award nominated screenwriter, in my opinion, the very best writer in America.
Well, it's my opinion, too, so we're all...
the very best writer in America.
That makes two.
Yeah, we'll get Patrick to join. So
okay,
and many of our listeners. Patrick is saying yes.
You know, the reality is there's not much competition these days.
It's not really. I mean, if you want to talk about writing, really good writing.
Yeah, it isn't.
There's not much.
We can talk about that later. Yeah. Anyway.
But right now, because we're going to have fun, and it's Roger Simon here, we're going to talk a little bit about how crazy the Democrats have become, criticizing Roger. Donald Trump got $250 million from himself and other donors to spruce up the very ugly East Wing, which is a very pedestrian part of the White House.
Yeah,
I would say. You've been there, haven't you?
Yeah, years ago I was there. You know,
when were you there?
I've been through most of the White House, not to the private quarters. You know, the White House. The funny thing about the White House is it's not a big deal compared to, you know, other august buildings around the world and other countries. But, you know, in a way that was its charm in that it wasn't pretentious and stuff like it. But one thing about Trump, I mean, I love Trump, but he is pretentious. I've been to
Gold leaf Trump, you mean?
Yeah, I've been to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah,
and look, I'm a snob. I walked in. This was in his first go round.
Yeah.
It was sometime in 15 or 16. Anyway, so I was with the press at that point, and I went to hear him talk at Mar-a-Lago. I was all excited. I drive up. There's this parking area. I had actually rented a BMW for the occasion, not to look too shabby.
Yeah.
I was shabby because when I drove up, it was nothing but Bentleys.
Oh.
I mean, I've never seen so many Bentleys in my life. Anyway, so I go in, and, to me, it's like really vulgar. Not really vulgar, just
sort
like,
of vulgar.
Just like
vulgary.
Vulgar. It's not my taste. I mean, it's a lot of glittery gold.
Glittery. He loves gold, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. So, but who cares?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with what the real decisions are that he makes, which are pretty good. I mean, this is all his taste. Okay, fine. So he's sprucing up the White House now. The White House, needed a sprucing up. And so
as world-class properties go, it's not really an A-level property.
No, like it's a D-level property.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to places in England and France, and it's not in the same ballpark. Or even in Eastern Europe, because I've been up. I lived in Prague for quite a while. We used to go up to the castle there, and it's pretty fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Also, recently in Budapest, where they're rehabbing, their stuff is just amazing. But it's a different era, all that stuff. So anyway, it is what it is. But what's really funny to me is the Democrats going like, "This is the end of the world." Everything that Trump does is the end of the world to them.
It's terrible.
If he picked his nose, it would be the end of the world.
And really, the White House itself, it's smaller than you might think.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not very big.
And but the East Wing is very nondescript, or it was until he took the wrecking ball to it.
Well, it doesn't exist right now.
He's going to build. So if you have a state dinner, right? They could only fit 200 people into it. And it was kind of dumpy, really.
Yeah.
And if you needed more than 200 people, they put these big tents up, like I don't know, like you're
like
having
people
a wedding,
do here
right?
in their fancy estates in Belmead. Anyway,
but still,
this. Why they're so excited about that is like, I mean, you would think that they have better things to think about, but they don't.
No, they don't.
That's what they're revealing in this. It's Trump derangement syndrome is so severe, it's almost incomprehensible, and I think it's going to way outlast him.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't be around either. And you might be, but probably not for the most of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine Trump derangement syndrome going on in 2080. I mean, they just won't stop.
They won't stop. And the thing this is one thing I really like about Trump. The guy loves to build things.
Oh, absolutely.
He's obsessed with it. He understands the details. You listen to him talking about it. He was talking about, what used to be in the East Wing. He said, yeah, they went to Home Depot.
It's it.
And they got these little 1 by 1 foot little, floorings, and they're all chipped. They weren't very, I put in this most beautiful marble. It's going to be so hugely beautiful. I just love him talking about it because you can tell the guy wants to build great buildings.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think he does. I'll put it this way: he's a really terrific builder. I don't think he's a great architect.
Yeah.
But I think he's dated.
Mm-hmm.
But so what?
Yeah, so what?
I mean, really, so what? And then all I'm expressing is my taste. I mean, someone else will go in there and say, "Oh, this is fantastic," so fine. What am I going to say? It's like a movie,
Yeah.
I go to a movie and I can't stand it. The other guy says, "Oh, that was great,"
Yeah. Well, it's a matter of taste, and he has a certain element to him. But I have to say, though, one of the things I really like, he does aspire to build beauty.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Unlike, I don't know, half a century of modern architecture, which is pathetic.
Yeah, someone had a very funny thing I saw on X. I can't stand X, by the way. I've decided X is like pollution.
You don't like X?
No, I think actually it's dangerous.
Formerly Twitter, but keep rolling.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. I think it's quite dangerous. I mean, because it gives a platform to really crazy people.
You mean like
Kansas? Oh, I mean,
she's crazy.
No,
she is crazy.
No, she's very crazy. Now it's fine. There've been crazy people throughout history.
Don't you think though that her husband must realize that she's crazy?
I think all of that may be true, but I think that's almost irrelevant.
Yeah,
because when you have crazy people like that broadcasting publicly in such a film, it's attracting a lot of other crazy people.
So this is a very interesting point that you make. If you look back in history, before we had social media, there were crazy people.
Indeed.
But what those crazy people would do is they would walk on a street corner, they would get on a soapbox, and they would talk to no one. Right?
Or a small group.
A small group of no
Because I remember when I was a kid, I went to London very young.
Yeah.
And I went to Hyde Park Square.
The famous place where the speakers were.
Who are really nuts hold forth. And I found it amazingly amusing.
Now they all have X accounts and big followers.
Yeah.
Right?
Then it's starting to get a little bit dangerous.
We'll have more with Roger Simon when we get back. This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
It's simple. No worker should ever be forced to pay money to a union boss just to get or keep a job. That's why hard-working Virginians overwhelmingly support right to work and agree that forced unionism is wrong. The good news is Republican gubernatorial candidate Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears has pledged 100% to defend Virginia's popular right to work law and the economic opportunity that it provides. Unfortunately, her opponent, Abigail Spanberger, can't say the same. In Congress, Spanberger repeatedly co-sponsored legislation legislation that would have wiped out every right-to-work law in the country, including Virginia's. Her record shows she supports Big Labor's agenda and their plan to repeal Virginia's popular right-to-work law. It's time for Abigail Spanberger to change her ways and apologize for support of forced unionism. Call Abigail Spanberger now and urge her to pledge to protect Virginia's right-to-work law. 804-223-0770. Here's what Governor Glenn Youngkin had to say.
We have to protect right to work.
This ad was paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
Ghazala Hashmi is masquerading as a moderate, but she's really a dangerous far-left radical. The facts? Crazy far-left groups bankroll Ghazala Hashmi's campaign, and Hashmi repeatedly voted for taxpayer-funded tuition and driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. She even co-sponsored legislation to lower the penalties for criminals who assault police officers and firefighters. Ghazala Hashmi, masquerading as a moderate, too radical for Virginia.
I'm John Reed, candidate for lieutenant governor, and I sponsored this ad.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet's spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I'm Chanel Sheeran, and I'm honored to share a special invitation on behalf of Senator Mark Pody. Mark would like to personally invite you to his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Go to markpody.com. This is a time to gather as neighbors, celebrate our values, look ahead to all God has in store for our future together. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director in Washington, D.C. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith at the center of everything he does. He stands firmly for faith, family, and freedom, supporting our schools, teachers, protecting our children, and community safety. So bring your friends, your family, and your faith, and come celebrate with us on October 25th. Together, through our diligence and prayer, we can keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative. Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Wow. Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, Roger Simon. Roger, in hour 3, will be joined here in studio by Congressman Tim Burchett. How about that? He's always a fun guy.
Yes, well, some jokes.
I know. I know.
I'm going to try to outstrip him.
Well, you often do. You often do. Well, Roger, I want to go back to the craziness of the Democrats. I saw this thing from Bannon, who was. Did you see his interview with the legacy media weasels at The Economist? You see that? And he was just kind of, giving them just being Bannon. And they were going, really? He said that the Democratic Party stands for crime, chaos, and cultural collapse. And he's right.
Well, obviously, that's not particularly brilliant.
Yeah.
Some of the other things I have questions about. I mean, why is he talking about another term for Trump? Because that's not happening, and even Trump knows it.
Yeah, he's tweaking everybody. Now, I want to go back to the fun of Trump, because that's Isn't it nice to have a president who's fun to talk about? I mean, really? Would you say? I mean,
who was fun to talk about? Probably Teddy Roosevelt.
let's think of who was fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, Nixon was not fun to talk about.
No.
Johnson was not fun to talk about.
Oh, Johnson particularly bad.
Yeah. George W. Bush, H.W. Reagan was kind of fun to talk about because he was upbeat, right?
Yeah, he was upbeat, but he was a lousy father.
Yeah.
I know this personally because I knew his kids when I lived in L.A.
His kids are a mess.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign.
No.
That's not a good.
Trump is a great
father.
Great father, great grandfather.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of fun in that way, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, now he was iconic and he was revered in many respects. He wasn't that as much fun to talk about, right?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't around.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to have come in. I went to vote with my father in the Stevenson-Eisenhower election.
56?
Yeah, I remember the experience walking.
What was it like?
Well, I was thrilled to be, and of course, my parents were big liberals, so they were, quote, gladly with Adley.
Gladly with Adley.
But now, looking back, Eisenhower was a really good president.
Eisenhower was a great president.
And a really interesting man and smart.
Well, he understood human nature.
Yeah, and he was a good general.
A very good general and a very good president as well.
Yeah.
Also, interestingly enough, he is known historically because of his warning of the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Which is, it was sort of the inner populace there of Dwight D. Eisenhower. This morning on Fox and Friends, Stephen Ducey went to Abilene, Kansas. The home where he grew up. And, the Eisenhower family itself, he graduated from West Point in 1911, I think it was. And he was a great athlete, by the way. But he blew his knee out playing football, and so he couldn't play after a couple years. But they had he grew up on a farm, and they had 10 kids, and they were lower middle class. All the 10 kids went on to great things. His brother became president of Johns Hopkins University, etc. Yeah, I think historians look back at Eisenhower and they have a great deal of affection for him, and I think he was a very good president.
Yeah, people didn't even realize what they had at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember a lot of talk about his wife being a drunk and throwing bottles out the window of Columbia. Of course, my parents were Democrats, so they were so there's no difference from today. They all,
Okay, so now let's put this in perspective. So you would have been a young child, when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president of Columbia University on the upper west side of Manhattan, right?
Not far from where we lived.
Not far from where you lived.
Right.
And his wife, Mamie Dowd Eisenhower.
Yeah, right.
I think Dowdy might be the best way to describe her.
Right, that's true. But the other part about it is I have no idea whether she was throwing bottles out of the window. How would I? But
that's what your parents said.
Well, that's what I don't know who said it, but I certainly remember that it was current information of the type that we are all used to today.
Now, just back to the time you walked with your father to vote. Describe that for a moment, because I think, because I grew up when it's all changed now. But Election Day was
a big deal.
It was like a civic holiday.
Yeah, of course. And I remember very well walking into that booth with my father, and I remember the voting machines where you had to. They were kind of very mechanical devices where you had to pull down a lever.
Yeah, pull it down.
And so my father had me do it.
So hold it. You went in the booth with your father?
Yeah.
And I remember those old mechanical machines.
Yeah. Well, so you must have gone in with your father because you weren't permitted in by yourself. That's for sure.
Yeah. I don't remember if I ever went in with my dad, but
how would you know the machine?
Because I grew up in upstate New York, and when my first year voting would have been 1976, and they had the mechanical machines in upstate New York,
right,
in those little small villages. That I remember that.
Well, it's all coming back now again with the voting machines.
So describe. So you go in. What was he? Where was this? Where in?
It was in a public school on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
On the Upper East Side.
Yeah, my parents lived on the East Side.
East Side.
Because my father was a doctor at Mount Sinai Hospital.
Yeah.
And so it was somewhere near there. I think it was around 105th Street.
Oh, wait, sort of way up on East Side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't remember the.
And so when you walked in, was there a big line? What do you remember of it?
I remember there being other people there doing it, but
Yeah.
I don't remember the size of the line.
Yeah.
We're challenging memory here in a big way. But the part of it that I remember is actually going into the booth, which was probably the most exciting part.
So that
because you had to close the booth with a
private,
there.
super secret.
See, this was really important stuff.
What did your father say about it to you?
I don't remember because I do remember that that they were big Stevenson supporters. Although my suspicion is that my father now would not be one. He wouldn't be a Democrat. No.
Yeah.
My mother would, but my mother was much more knee-jerk about her politics.
Yeah.
My father was smarter and actually. I don't know because I'm projecting.
Well, things have changed so much over time, and the culture has changed.
I mean, he was always he worked for the government in part because he was one of the people who was involved with the Manhattan Project and things like that.
Yeah.
So he had
big time guy.
He had
big time guy.
He had full clearance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he used to come back. My first brush with Tennessee was when he would come back from Oak Ridge, where he was every month, because he was brought down there as an expert on what fallout would do to people, and so he was seeing all the new weapons as they were coming out, and he was white as a sheet all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
He was worried about him.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't be? And he was privy to information that the rest of them didn't have.
Well, that's interesting that you have such a vivid recollection of voting. My recollection more is, and I do have a very clear recollection of Dwight Eisenhower giving that speech on military-industrial complex.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Of course, I know of it a lot.
Of course, to tell you how young I was, I couldn't tell the difference between. This is crazy. Dwight Eisenhower and Nikita Khrushchev, because they were both old bald guys. When we come back, Roger, there's a mayoral race in New York City, your hometown. And, it looks like the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, Mamdani, is in the lead. We'll talk about that and more when we get back.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. Then borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
The words you are about to hear are taken from an actual text conversation between Jay Jones and another state delegate.
I'll go to their funerals to piss on their graves.
Jay Jones.
2 bullets? Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head.
Jay, please stop.
Okay.
It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die.
Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy.
Jay Jones hoped children could die to advance his political agenda. Jay Jones admits these are his words. Look it up in the Washington Post. Jay Jones wished violence on his opponent's children. So how could we trust him to protect our children? Jay Jones should never be Attorney General.
I'm Jason Miyares, candidate for Attorney General, and this ad was sponsored by Miyares for Virginia.
All active duty military, first responders, and veterans. You served our country and our communities. Now it's our turn to serve you. If you're suffering from chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, wherever, QC Kinetics would like to offer you an exclusive discount off your entire treatment of our groundbreaking regenerative therapy. As the nation's leader in joint pain relief, we've helped thousands break free from their joint pain and get back to living. Our treatment revitalizes damaged tissue with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To claim your veterans discount, call QC Kinetics today, 757-540-2243. Get the help you need to keep moving, keep working, and keep living life without being sidelined. And even if you're not military or a first responder, you can still get a free consultation today. Don't let joint pain keep you from a life you love. Call today, 757-540-2243. 757-540-2243.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, native of New York City, now our good friend here in Nashville, Tennessee, the one, the only, Academy Award nominated screenwriter, best writer in America, Roger Simon. Roger, there's a mayoral election in New York City. The mayors of New York have been sort of disappointing of late. After Rudy Giuliani, who was a very good mayor, he was followed by Michael Bloomberg, who was an okay mayor, who was followed by Bill de Blasio, who was an awful mayor, who was followed by Eric Adams, who's been an ineffective mayor. Now the candidates are Zoran Mamdani, the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, who is an Islamist, basically, Islamist neo-Marxist. Andrew Cuomo, who is a failed governor, and Curtis Sliwa, who is a Republican who wears a beret and has had a career basically, talking about street crime, I guess, and being a radio guy. Now, let me tell you where the election is, I guess, in very soon, a couple weeks. Early voting starts tomorrow, I think. The polling shows right now, the latest is Mamdani leads with 42%. Cuomo has 28%. Sliwa is 19%. Some want Sliwa to drop out. I don't think it'll make any difference because I don't think all of his votes would go to Cuomo. But let me share this polling information with you. 36% of the voters in Manhattan are foreign-born. Of the 64% who are American-born, Cuomo leads 40% to 30% over Mamdani. Among the 36% who are foreign-born, Mamdani leads Cuomo 62% to 25%. I think that tells you everything you need to know about
Tells
that
you a
election.
lot. But there's one other thing.
Tell me.
This is going to shock your audience. I hope Mamdani wins.
Why?
I'll tell you why. It's going to be a disaster. And it'll be a disaster for the Democratic Party nationally.
Mm-hmm.
It won't mean much in New York ultimately because the statistic that you just gave has ruined New York forever.
Yes.
It's over. New York used to be the greatest city in the world. It's now
It's not now.
It's now headed to be London too.
Yeah.
But America still has some hope, and its biggest hope is the destruction of the Democratic Party as we know it. And
Yeah.
And I think that this will help that happen.
But we
So that's
but
again,
this,
maybe I'm looking for the bright side of a dark situation, but I don't think so.
here's the thing. I think what you say makes perfect sense. In this regard, I do think we're just sort of acknowledging that New York City, as the number one city in the world, no longer exists, and that it is rapidly becoming a third world blank hole.
Not as fast as Los Angeles, but
Not
pretty
as fast,
good.
but pretty.
What's amazing about Los Angeles is they haven't rebuilt anything yet. I mean, I was talking about that with my wife this morning because, we're ex-Angelinos and we know the territory really well.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about Trump rebuilding the White House in about 20 minutes. and all that stuff that burned down in L.A., I don't know when it was, a couple of years ago now.
Well, it was January, but it's a long time ago.
January.
They haven't rebuilt anything.
They haven't done anything.
They can't do anything.
Yeah.
They can talk.
Yeah.
They can, create
I'm not
riots.
sure they can even talk, but they can talk. But they don't talk that well. But they do talk. So it's interesting because I think that is a forerunner of the Mamdani situation in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
some of the things he claims he's going to do are just impossible.
You don't think it's a good idea to have free bus rides?
Well, he says that means that bus drivers are not going to have money, therefore they're not going to get problem with crime.
That's idiotic.
Yes.
You understand?
There's a lot of people on the bus beside the bus driver. Anyway, that's
what.
And some of them carry money.
The buses of New York will become basically moving crime centers, right?
Yeah.
And it's just part of the craziness. But I don't think they care. I don't think Democrats care about the consequences of their actions. I think they actually want to create cultural disasters.
Well, sort of. That's essentially what I wrote in a book of mine back in '16 called "I Know Best," which by the way, has got the best reviews of anything I ever wrote. The reviews on Amazon are unbelievable, but it's all about what I call the moral narcissism, which is what what you're describing.
Yeah.
Which is it's not it's not the results of what you say; it's what you say. And
exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
In short version, and they don't care about the results.
So, Eric Adams, the current mayor, who dropped out of the race, yesterday made a big announcement. He's endorsing Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, he's going to campaign with him in the last.
Who cares?
Not too many people.
No, not too many people care.
I mean, what's really interesting is, how few people are behind any of these candidates.
Well, that's a good point because
but the whole thing with Mondani is they don't know what to do because he's such an obvious winner at this point. On the other hand, for the Democrats to associate themselves with him, they know is dangerous. So they don't, democratic socialism is what we call an oxymoron, two words that don't really that mean the opposite.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he calls himself a democratic socialist, as did V.I. Lenin.
Yeah. Or
as did Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
As did Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
I could go on.
Yeah. Well, okay. So is the probability that Zohran Mamdani will win the election to be mayor of New York City is what, 99%?
Pretty high.
Pretty
yeah.
high. It is very 95 plus.
Yeah, up there.
So what happens to New York City after the day after he's inaugurated?
I think a certain amount of businesses that have been waffling about whether to leave the city will continue, although I think most of those businesses have been making plans for some time.
They've
not
been
exactly new.
It's not exactly a fast exit.
And it's difficult.
Yeah, to move.
Moving is very hard, and especially for big businesses. But I think some of that is going to happen. More people are going to be thinking about moving. That, I think a lot of people who I talk to, New Yorkers, are thinking about moving. I mean, whether some to here, to Tennessee, to Florida, a lot of red states.
Could you see the foreign-born population of New York City increasing from 36% to over 50%?
Well, that would be the outgrowth.
Yeah, that would be out. And by the way, I think like over 60% of public housing in New York City is foreign-born.
Yes.
Right? So this overall is, I think, the problem with our cities and why our cities have gone so crazy. They have very high levels of foreign-born population. New York City is perhaps, at the high end, but Los Angeles sort of is in that category as well.
Los Angeles is easily in that category. Yeah. And those are your two biggest cities right there. Boom, boom.
And then Chicago. Similar.
I mean, it was probably pretty well up there as well. It's just not. And the foreign-born thing was interesting to me because originally it was mostly Latinos.
Yeah.
Now there's the good thing in that is that they are mostly Roman Catholics.
And Latino culture actually fits well with traditional American culture.
Yes.
It really does.
Yes, of course, because it's a Judeo-Christian tradition. Yeah. On the other hand, now increasingly we have people from the Islamic background. And it's really scary. Even right here, Georgia is filled with it.
Yeah, Texas.
Georgia and Texas are very scary right now. Georgia, when I wrote that book, American Refugees, which is the title of my Substack, I spent time in Georgia researching it, and Georgia is not a good place. It's just not. And the people running Georgia are not good people, and even the Republicans. And
you're no fan of Brian Kemp, in other words.
No, not in the slightest. I think these people are, profiteers, and they're looking the other way, and they don't care about what's really happening. And what's really happening is the infiltration of something that will really undermine America, which is Sharia. I mean,
yeah, and it's interesting you say that, Roger, because if you look at it, the assimilation problem as one that was recognized in the early 20th century, and that's why immigration stopped cold from 1920 to 1965. And what we see here in America today is blue states and red states have very different views on it. When we come back, we'll see what California has done on it and how it's really hurt many, many Americans. Back with Roger Simon after this.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Executive Director of the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund, and this is a Live Free Minute. Just this month, an illegal immigrant in Virginia was convicted of raping an 11-year-old girl after breaking into her home. On any given day, there are hundreds of illegal immigrants in Virginia jails who have committed violent crimes. Yet there are politicians who openly advocate for protecting these criminal illegal immigrants and who wish to make Virginia a sanctuary for them. Our constitutional republic is dependent on adherence to the rule of law. Our founders could not have imagined that there would be politicians who would be so bold as to campaign against it. I encourage you to vote this election to protect public safety and the rule of law. This Live Free Minute is sponsored by the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund. We empower Americans to live free. And for more information, go to acruaction.com.
If you plan on voting for the Republicans in Virginia in November, vote early. That is the key to victory. Let's hear what Governor Youngkin has to say.
We have to get the vote out, and you have to vote early. Something could happen on Election Day, and you will miss it, and we can't afford to miss it. SecureYourVoteVirginia.com is ready to help you make a plan to vote early. Get out and vote. Every single vote counts. Go to SecureYourVoteVirginia.com and make a plan to vote early.
Early voting is underway. The time to vote is now. Paid for by Spirit of Virginia. The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Mandami visited a very controversial Brooklyn mosque just months after the imam there called for the annihilation of Israel. Your thoughts?
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party to confront this kid with his own background. He's a rabid socialist.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
He gave the finger to the Columbus statue.
Right. I can't almost think of any group he hasn't offended.
Silence is tacit support. When a Chesterfield school board member celebrated a political assassination, Leslie Mehta was silent. When death threats were made against members of the House of Delegates, Leslie Mehta was silent. And when her political ally Jay Jones talked about shooting the former House Speaker and seeing his children dead, Leslie Mehta said nothing. She still supports him. If you can't speak with moral clarity on issues that are clear, you have no business leading our community. And Mehta's record speaks volumes. She wants more high-rise apartments in Chesterfield, crowding our schools, jamming our roads, and making life harder. She defended letting men compete in girls' sports and use women's locker rooms. And she opposed school resource officers, making kids less safe. Leslie Mehta's silence and her agenda are too extreme for Chesterfield.
I'm Mark Early, candidate for delegate, and my campaign sponsored this ad.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
Chanel Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the very best writer in America, Roger Simon. Roger, you know, we're talking about the how crazy the blue states and blue cities have become. And it's almost like they've become European in the sense that they're like the United Kingdom. They're like Spain. They're like France. They've decided that they want to open the doors to all of these Islamists who want to destroy their countries.
It's crazy. You know, it's interesting because they have the illustration of what happened to Europe in front of them.
Yeah.
They want, but they don't pay any attention.
They do not pay any attention to it.
But London,
it's gone.
God. Well, you know, I'm not going to exactly talk about my new novel because I want to keep it a little bit secret. But the subject matter of it I had been working on for years in a different venue. And in order to do research about 12 years ago, I went to Paris to go to the banlieue, which means the suburbs, which are, and they are, I have been all over the Arab world. I've been in Cairo, I've been in Sudan. I was more scared and nervous in the suburbs of Paris than I was anywhere.
It's like all the radical Islamists have said, well, you know, we need to take down Western civilization. And the worst of them come here, and they try to take us down. Yeah. Now, let me just show, the problem is we've got this...
Take us down and take over.
Yeah, and take over. The European attitude of surrender to Islam and the left is prevalent in many blue states. Let me give you an example. In California, they have, I don't know what you call it, the open border policy in California. I'm going to play this clip for you right now. And it is just beyond crazy. Here we go. Play this clip 14.
A federal audit found California had issued 62,000 CDLs to drivers who entered illegally, John, or do not have a permanent legal status as required by the feds. California sanctuary laws prohibit asking applicants their immigration status. Governor Newsom said there's not a problem. Back to you.
Did I hear you right? Did you say 62,000?
That's correct.
Oh, my goodness.
Roger. 62,000 commercial driver's licenses issued to illegal aliens, most of whom couldn't speak English.
And maybe can't drive.
And can't drive.
I mean, if you look at that, I saw that thing yesterday of that Mr. Singh who was driving the semi and
the 21-year-old
killed 3 people.
Who was allegedly high on something. He was a 21-year-old who came into illegally in the United States like 3 years ago.
You know, the whole thing of they don't test these people for anything. I mean, I don't know. You know, I grew up in most of my life in L.A. and I lived in Hollywood and I was a Hollywood writer and I knew all these people. And we were all so liberal, and you know, everybody was hiring illegal aliens. Everybody, me, myself included. No, I'm honest about it. I've written about it before. I mean, you know, because it was cheap labor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and if you spoke Spanish, all the better, because then you could make sure they did the job right.
Yeah.
But it was so hypocritical, so awful, and so sinful. I hate the word sinful is pretty strong, but it's what it is. And you know, Gavin Newsom and that awful woman mayor, they're
Karen Bass.
Yeah.
I hear the music, but I think we've still got a couple
Cuba.
minutes to go. Are we playing some early commercials here? Or? No, I think we got a couple more minutes before we go. But yeah, I think their plan is to ruin the blue states. I mean, the red states with all of these illegal aliens. And then they are kind of, you know, neo-secessionists. In other words, all of these governors and mayors are saying, we got to stop the federal law enforcement officers from enforcing the law. That's not going to go well. It's not going to go well at all.
No, it's going to be awful. People are going to die.
I think we need to get the helicopter going. It's not Marine Force One. It's not Marine Force One. There we go. It's Congress Force One. The helicopter, and in it, who's in it? That would be Congressman Tim Burchett and his staff members landing in our landing spot right outside of our offices.
One of the best people in Congress, no question.
And that's a pretty low bar, though, isn't it?
It is. It's about as low as you can get.
It's about as low as you can get.
It would take Novak Djokovic to get down that low.
To get down that low, yeah. And we see now entering, they just got out of Congress Force One. It is Congressman Tim Burchett, who's about to join us in our next hour. So we're very excited to have him here. And Roger, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, as usual.
All right. We'll be back with Congressman Tim Burchett after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
On Golf with Jay Delsing, hear the stories of star makers like Scotty Scheffler coach Randy Smith.
Randy, thank you so much for joining us today.
I knew that there was going to be something real close to what we're looking at when he was 6.5 years old.
Wow.
I was one of the luckiest guys in the world to be standing on the right street corner when the right bus came up.
Plus the latest equipment news and tips on playing better golf. Golf with Jay Delsing, Saturday mornings, 11 Eastern, 10 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Ghazala Hashmi is masquerading as a moderate, but she's really a dangerous far-left radical. The facts? Crazy far-left groups bankroll Ghazala Hashmi's campaign, and Hashmi repeatedly voted for taxpayer-funded licenses for illegal immigrants. She even co-sponsored legislation to lower the penalties for criminals who assault police officers and firefighters. Ghazala Hashmi, masquerading as a moderate, too radical for Virginia.
I'm John Reed, candidate for Lieutenant Governor, and I sponsored this ad.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Mondami visited a very controversial Brooklyn mosque just months after the imam there called for the annihilation of Israel. Your thoughts?
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party to confront this kid with his own background. He's a rabid socialist.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
He gave the finger to the Columbus statue.
Right. I can't almost think of any group he hasn't offended.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis, AM 760, AM 730. The Flame.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Secretary of State Marco Rubio taking a tour today of the U.S.-led center in Israel that's overseeing the Gaza ceasefire. He told military leaders gathered at the Civil Military Coordination Center that some parts of Gaza are still under Hamas control.
The world needs to understand that on the other side of that yellow line, there is still a terrorist group that remains armed, and we've seen them take actions against their own population. I think it's important, by the way, that there be more media coverage given to the fact that Hamas has brutalized Palestinians, has brutalized Gazans over the last few days.
Meanwhile, the administration is working to set up an international security force in the territory and shore up the current ceasefire. President Trump is citing an anti-tariff ad campaign as his reason for terminating trade talks with Canada.
Trump posted on his social media site that Canada fraudulently used an ad featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. Trump says that Canada only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts, and that all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated.
That's correspondent Donna Warder reporting. The Garden State is suing Amazon.
The state of New Jersey is alleging discrimination against employees who are pregnant and employees with disabilities. The state alleges Amazon placed workers on unpaid leave after they requested an accommodation and retaliated against employees who sought accommodations, including by terminating some workers. The state attorney general said the lawsuit follows a years-long investigation by its Civil Rights Division into Amazon's treatment of workers at warehouses across New Jersey.
That is Bill Alexander reporting. Social Security recipients can look forward to a little something extra next year. The Social Security cost of living increase will go up by 2.8%. That translates into an average increase of $56 a month for retirees. More from townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Here's Rich Thomason with a midday Wall Street business report.
Consumer prices rose less than expected last month, and that is raising hopes for another Fed interest rate cut. President Trump declares trade talks with Canada terminated, accusing the Canadians of putting together a bogus anti-tariff TV ad. President Trump travels to Japan and South Korea soon. He's expected to promote an epic windfall in investments for U.S. factories and various projects. The two countries have made combined pledges totaling roughly $900 billion. Mr. Trump will also be meeting with Chinese President Xi to talk trade. The Trump administration has finalized a plan to open the coastal plain of Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil and gas exploration. At least 4 lease sales within the refuge over a 10-year span. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Some good news for those looking for a home mortgage they can afford, as mortgage rates have dropped closer now to 6%.
Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year mortgage fell this week to 6.19%. That's the lowest level in more than a year and the third straight weekly drop. Mortgage rates are influenced by several factors, from the Federal Reserve's interest rate policy to how the bond market reacts to the economy and inflation. Mortgage rates have mostly eased since late July, a trend that's led many homeowners to refinance their existing home loan. Lower rates also helped lift home sales last month. I'm Alex Vega.
Tesla is recalling more than 63,000 Cybertrucks in the U.S. The front lights on them are too bright. That can cause a distraction to other drivers. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Tesla is not aware of any collisions, injuries, or fatalities related to the problem. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We welcome to our microphones here in studio, in the house, our favorite congressman from East Tennessee, 2nd Congressional District, Tim Burchett. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks for having me on, brother. It's a big honor and privilege.
It's fun to have you here. What's going on with all these crazy Democrats? You know, I was watching our friend Stephen K. Bannon yesterday. He was interviewed by some weasels on the Economist, right?
I saw that.
And basically he said, you know, the Democrat Party stands for crime, chaos, and cultural collapse. Well, you're right in the middle of it with all of them, and I think he's right. This shutdown, what's going on with that?
I agree, and the shutdown has nothing to do with helping people or SNAP, which is food stamps. What it has to do is basically Chuck Schumer has to appeal or appease the far Marxist left. Now, he's a left-winger. He's probably not a communist, but the Democrat Party's been taken over by them, and he hears footsteps in the background, and those footsteps are Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. If she announces today that she's running, she will immediately get millions of. It will set all new records, and she undoubtedly will win. And so Schumer has to appease that far left, and the way because he sees what's happened in New York City, New York being his base of operation, obviously. His crime syndicate, if you will, is so far to the left, and he sees that they're going to elect an anti-Semitic Marxist Muslim to the mayors. There's no question, unless just some miracle happens that.
No, they're gonna elect the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, Mondani.
Yeah, that's him.
That's what they're gonna do.
That's him, and they'll elect him. And Schumer sees that, and he knows he's got to have that base to stay in power. And it's all about his power, and that's what Washington's about. Unfortunately, it's infected both parties. It's about power. It's about control. And it's about ego.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about all they're for. Now, what's interesting about this, if you look at the current shutdown, now we're in day 24 of the shutdown. The House did its job, passed a continuing resolution that would use the previous budget and continue in the new budget for another 60 days. It would take us to the end of November. But the Senate has different rules, and you've got to get to 60 votes. You got to, because they have the filibuster there. You got to get to 60 votes to pass the budget. The Democrats won't do it. They definitely are. They're claiming that they want to put that the money back in for illegal aliens to have health care, money back in for $500 million for the left wing PBS, NPR broadcasts, and they claim, the subsidies for Obamacare are going to expire in at the end of December, and we got to have those in before you'll turn the government back on.
Right.
But I don't think that's what really their game is.
No, they knew that, but the Democrats are when they put that in place. They put that cliff to fall off in place. It wasn't the Republicans. They voted for it unanimously when they inflicted us with Obamacare, and that's what ACA is. It is Obamacare, and they knew it was going to happen. And we got to fix Obamacare is what they keep saying, but adding $1 trillion to it every few years or what have you is not fixing anything.
I think what they want to do here is actually create chaos and cultural collapse.
Yeah.
Case in point, this morning, Governor Bill Leahy here in Tennessee put out a warning to SNAP recipients, that is food stamps here in Tennessee, saying likely November 1st that the benefits you usually receive aren't going to come because of the government shutdown. My theory is that this kind of cultural collapse that could come from, across the country, I guess like 40 million people are on it. There have been the social media, you've seen the clips. If I don't get my SNAP money on November 1st, I'm going into that grocery store, I'm taking what I want, and if you get in my way, I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah, good luck with that in Tennessee.
Well, that's a very good point. I think that's really what the Democrats are after.
Yeah, they like anarchy. They hate I was at the group this morning speaking, a men's group. Incredible attendance. It was packed. And I kind of led off with that. I said, the left or the Democrats, they hate this country. They hate our flag. They hate our veterans. They hate our God. They hate everything we stand for. And they repeatedly attack it, and they're trying to break it. And, they want to create their own little wokotopia.
Oh, I like that. Yes. Wokotopia.
Yes, sir. Well, I can't take full credit for it. Matt Gates, I stole it from him.
You stole it from Matt Gates?
I stole it from Matt.
I like that phrase.
I called him the other day. I was on his show, his TV show the other day, and I threw that out there, and I said, but I can't. Of course, you're the one who created that term. But it's the truth. They don't like what we've got, and you want to see somebody living well in a socialist society, look at the ones who formed it.
Yeah.
And that's
what they want.
Yeah.
They want to destroy our constitutional republic. That's basically what they want to do. Now, I look at that, and we've had a couple of very interesting things going on. Donald Trump yesterday said that a billionaire has given the federal government $130 million to pay the troops this upcoming November 1st.
That's correct.
That's fantastic. That's what this is about. I think what the Democrats want is,
and they blocked the attempt to pay. The
They want cultural collapse.
Yeah.
They want the country to collapse. That's what the Democrat, I think, and all of their actions say that. That's not a good thing.
No.
It's not a good thing at all. But I think because of that, I think you've got all these things going on where Trump found the money for October 15th to pay the military. I don't know where he found it, but he found it. And then November 1st, I think this billionaire is going to kick in, and I think payroll will be covered. I don't know about the SNAP. That'll be a problem. But I think we're going to run into an area now where what's the longest shutdown's been, like 35 days in history?
35 days, I believe, yeah. 35 or 36.
Do you think there will be a decision made in the Senate, because we'll be running into a national security problem, to go and basically say, in this instance, we're going to get rid of the filibuster in instances where the government's been shut down more than 35 days. Do you think that's likely to happen?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, I think they're going to try to drag it out as much as possible. And I think the Democrats in the past all they've had to do is rely on what Schumer said.
Mm-hmm.
And when Schumer says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and this is what this bill does, and nobody questions it. I mean, Obamacare. Everybody forgets Obama shut the government down for that, and plus he said we got to pass it to know what's in it. And I think that's exactly the road we're headed down. I think they'll. In the past, Schumer could put something out or a bill and just say, this is the way it is. And I've said this before: ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, and the cluckheads on The View.
The cluckheads.
Yeah.
I like that phrase.
Thank you. I made that.
That's yours.
That's original.
Okay.
So, but they just regurgitate it all, and then everybody just believes it. But not anymore because of the Michael Patrick Leahy's of the world and this crazy internet thing that Al Gore allegedly invented. But people are checking on what's going on, and they're not buying it. They're actually correcting Hakeem Jeffries on CNN and other avenues. So, yeah, I think we've got some real issues that I think they got a real problem. But it is about them staying in control. Again, though, when 12% of the population votes, this is what we get.
Here's a question for you. Now we're day 24. Do you put your Nostradamus cap on? On what day will this end?
I don't know. Thanksgiving, maybe?
I think it's going to be the longest shutdown in history.
I do too.
Yeah, I think so.
I do too.
I think so. And it's not going to help the Democrats.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I think, again, they don't question their leadership, and that's going to be their downfall.
When we come back with Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee's 2nd Congressional District, we're going to talk about some Tennessee political issues. Back after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, TIREGET.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, Congressman Tim Burchett. Congressman Burchett, someday, not today, we will actually air some of our conversations during the breaks, which are really quite fun. I want to talk about Tennessee politics a little bit here. You were here. I saw you on Sunday in Franklin, Tennessee. There was a big event for State Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson, who our friend Aaron Culbertson has said has been one of the most effective legislators in the Tennessee General Assembly in the history of the state, which I think is true. So a big event. You were there. Robbie Starbuck was there. Senator Blackburn was there. Gary Chapman, great singer, our friend.
Was great.
Sang the national anthem. That was a great event, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great catching up with Gary. I hadn't seen him in years, actually, and he caught me on Tucker Carlson, and we were talking about it, and you know, it was just cool catching up with him and just other people and just seeing folks. I spent 16 years in the legislature, and people in this area have been so kind to me.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed afterwards and went out, and I think I was getting carpal tunnel syndrome from all the selfies I was taking with folks. It was wonderful.
People in Tennessee are just big fans of Tim Burchett. You know, I can tell you, Gary's been on this show many times. He plays his guitar on the show and does great songs.
Yeah.
And I've told him this, that his song, A Tender Tennessee Christmas, is really one of the reasons we moved to Tennessee. Because my wife is from Texas. We were living in California at the time. We had a young daughter just born.
Yep.
And we listened to A Tender Tennessee Christmas. Such a great song. And my wife looked at me and said, you know, I'm not going to raise this girl in godless California. And we moved to Tennessee. Back in 1991.
Yeah. It's a great story. It's a great song.
It's a great song. Now, I think there's a gubernatorial race going on.
Yeah.
You've endorsed
Marsha
Blackburn.
I have.
Who's been a great senator. I'm a big fan of Marsha's. You know, I met her first back in 98, when she was running for the state Senate. I live in Thompson Station,
right,
Spring Hill area, and the voting booth, area was a fire station there, the volunteer fire station.
Sure.
And no one was there, but there was a little folding table set up, and this nice woman was there, just talking to people, and by herself. It was Marsha.
Yeah.
I introduced her to my 5-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And Marsha took the time to talk with my daughter about how important it was to vote. Made a lasting impression.
Yeah. My daughter Marsha are good friends. Isabel is my daughter. She got run over by a horse. She's a barrel racer.
Oh, yeah.
Broke 5 ribs.
How's she
spleen.
doing?
Oh, she's great. She's healed. But Marsha was one of the first people to call, and she always, Senator Blackburn, and then Dad, she told me to call her Marsha. A little bitty girl telling you that, and I go, okay, honey, you do that. And then she sees Marsha, and she always checks in on her and asks about her. But yeah, I go back before she was even a state senator. She was commissioner of films
and did a great job.
And then she ran for the Senate, and we sat beside each other on the Senate floor.
Well, and I think you were one of the killer bees, right? It was Diane Black, May Beavers, Marsha Blackburn, Tim Burchett in the state Senate, and
they called us Neanderthals.
You stopped probably the most important political accomplishment in modern Tennessee history. You stopped the state income tax from coming into the state.
Yes, sir.
It was tremendous. The Tennessee tax revolt. We had the horn honkers going down around.
Wild. I remember we were just waiting on something to break, and I was sitting in my office, and it was shut down, I guess, and the horns were honking, and it was just kind of, you get used to it. And I remember I could doze while the horns were honking.
But you stopped the state income tax, and that was Marsha Blackburn and you and Diane Black and many others. And
primarily Marsha. I mean, she got out on the new avenue of talk radio, which was all kind of new for all of us, and she really, because they were doing it live from the mall. I remember.
Yeah,
and it was some fun times.
And it was consequential. Can you imagine what would have happened to the state of Tennessee if we'd had a state income tax?
A lot of people would not have moved here.
It would have been a disaster.
Our economy would be, and we are a zero debt state.
Mm-hmm.
Our bond rating is through the roof. And people, what's the bond rating matter? Well, if you ever have to go borrow money, and financial institutions look at that, at how you manage your state. And we've been fortunate. We've held back from all that, and it's single issue spending bills. I talk about that in Congress, and everybody's eyes just roll because that's the corruption. You want a 3,000-page bill. That's what you want to pass, so you can get all your garbage in there.
Exactly. I wrote about the Tennessee tax revolt in my book Covenant of Liberty, and in that I quoted some people who came down to be part of the rallies from Connecticut. You remember this?
I do.
Because Connecticut in the 1990s decided to adopt a state income tax.
Yeah.
It destroyed the state. And these people from Connecticut said, you cannot pass a state income tax because it will destroy your state, because the bureaucrats will basically spend all this money on stupid stuff.
Well, and everybody talks about what was really behind that, and because I studied it. But in Tennessee tax code, you didn't pay a tax on dividend, and you wonder why all the big boys and girls were pushing for that income tax, because they would just move all theirs to stock holdings and pay themselves a dividend and not a salary, and then you and I would be picking up the tab.
Yeah.
And you and I don't have that luxury.
No, we don't. We don't. Now, let's talk a little bit. If you look at that race for governor, you've got Marsha Blackburn.
Sure.
The most recent polls have her at like 66%.
She hasn't really even started.
She hasn't really started. And John Rose is a 6th congressional district congressman, is announced. He's running. He's like at 14%. Monty Fritz, the state rep from East Tennessee, is announced. Yep. He hasn't been in the polls, but he's probably 2 or 3%. I don't know, somewhere around that. There's some speculation now about what would happen in the event Marsha were to win the GOP primary and become elected governor.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it would work out, but she would have to resign from the Senate before she became governor. But that could happen within a second or so, right?
Yeah, contingency upon her being elected or being sworn in.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it could come about that she could both resign from the Senate and appoint her successor to fill out the rest of her term.
That's correct.
Would you be interested in serving the balance of her term if she were to choose to appoint you?
100%. I hear these folks out here that say, well, I'm going to form a study committee. I'm going to do this. That's all bogus. I would love the opportunity to be in the U.S. Senate. I think I would enjoy the fight, I could take the fight to them, and I think we could do some things.
Well, I think if you were to serve in the United States Senate, John Kennedy from Louisiana would certainly have some competition in terms of.
Well, he doesn't vote as conservative as I do. We were both scheduled to.
Yeah.
He was scheduled to speak in Williamson County, and he canceled. And they called me from over there and said, "Hey, there's a girl over there that Hannah Watts, Tiblier, I believe is her. She was Hannah when I knew her, Hannah Watts, but went to Bearden High School together. And she called me and she said, "Hey, Flea," and that was my nickname.
Flea.
Flea. I was the smallest guy on the football team. I always got stomped, but I became captain my senior year. But we went 5-5 that year. You might have heard of me. But anyway,
as in Eric the Flea Allen.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
He's probably more successful than
football
me,
player.
Yeah.
Were you a punt returner?
Oh no, I was a wide receiver.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was slow, but I couldn't catch. No, I ran a great route and I could catch, but
they
didn't throw back then. I caught 10 passes my senior year.
So you're the sort of the Howard Twilley of East Tennessee high school football.
Correct. But no, she called me and said, "Hey, would you like to speak?" And I said, "Sure." I mean, when is it? She was like, a month or something. I said, "Well, no time waiting." The last minute. She said, "Well, honestly, Kennedy had canceled." And then these very sweet conservative ladies, I was walking them out to their car, and I said, "We're glad you're here." And she said, Senator Kennedy was, scheduled, and I said, "Yes, ma'am, I know." And they said, "But he doesn't vote as conservative as you." So I always remembered that.
Well, here's the thing.
But yeah, I would love the opportunity to be in the U.S. Senate.
What would your strategy be in the Senate versus the House?
Very simply, I would like to be a conduit for good House bills. In the state legislature, there is that conduit. There's that talk. There's a friendship. In the Senate, I always say, when I talk to one of my House buddies, I say, when you get elected to Senate, you got to do what everybody else does. And they said, "What's that?" I said, "Ignore me completely," because there is no conduit. I mean, these bills, like my bill to defund the Taliban. I passed it in the House. We're sending them $40 million a week. We're still sending them $40 million a week through the NGOs, but it's over in the Senate, and there really is no conduit for somebody to pick it up. You go over there and you ask somebody, "Hey, will you take this bill?" Or they see it, or they miraculously put it in at the last minute, a big funding, 3,000-page funding bill.
So it's interesting. You're kind of taking the Tennessee General Assembly approach.
Yes, sir.
To the U.S. Congress.
Yes, sir.
Because the House and the Senate here, with Cam Sexton, William Lamberth, Jack Johnson, Randy McNally, they work very closely together.
Very closely together. And I can pick up the phone right now. I could call William Lamberth. I could call Jack Johnson. I could call Randy McNally. I could call Cameron Sexton and say, "Hey, I'm working on some stuff."
That's really what we need. That's a fantastic angle and a fantastic approach. Tim Burchett, Congressman from the 2nd District of Tennessee. Tim, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, brother, and I appreciate what you've done with this terrorist that we allowed in our country.
Kilmar, Tom Pappert will be with us in the next segment.
Okay, and I love talking about that because that was Tennessee, and it would not have happened if it not been for you. So God bless you, brother.
Well, thank you, Congressman. And Tom Pappert joins us with the latest on Kilmar Abrego. Of course, you're not going to believe this, folks. Back after this.
Founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with Get Found Everywhere.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me. Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative, Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, the one, the only, Tom Pappard. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
Well, you know, we were going to talk about one thing, but the Kilmer-Abrego Garcia saga continues. The illegal alien who has received more due process legal assistance than any person in American history. And the assistance comes from, we are estimating, about $10 million of legal fees, we're guessing, spent by the New York City law firm Hecker and Fink, you know, the guys that got $7 million from Reid Hoffman to pursue the ludicrous E. Jean Carroll sexual harassment claim against Donald Trump, and by the Nashville-based law firm Sherrard & Rowe, and then the Murray Osorio immigration law firm, and I think we'll have to add to the list of support the left-wing Democrat judges in both this criminal case and an immigration case who are basically bending over backwards to also join the defense team. This is my view, not your view, but my view on it. So the latest is this Obama-appointed judge, Paula Zenas, who now was trying to, I guess, free Kilmar Abrego Garcia because she had put the Department of Justice in sort of a catch-22 situation with regards to where he's going to be deported. We have a new country that he's likely to be deported. Bring us up to speed on all this.
I would just quickly add, Michael, you forgot one of the law firms, and that's Quinn Emanuel, the same law firm that represents major celebrities, Kim Kardashian, Elon Musk. They are somehow involved in Abrego Garcia's immigration lawsuit, in addition to Maria Sorio. But yes, there is a new nation today. We're up to, I believe this is the 25th nation that ICE has identified as a place for Abrego Garcia to be deported. The difference is this time they say the nation says they'll accept Abrego Garcia, and the nation in question is Liberia. He's once again headed to Africa, but this time to the west coast of Africa, where he will again be confined in a Liberian prison. Now, he, of course, Michael, still has the opportunity to, as he has 24 times previously, claim that he fears persecution or torture in this country. But as of yet, he has not, though the filing is only about 90 minutes old as we speak.
Well, yeah, 90 minutes, that's not enough time for them to come in with all of their big legal expenses and claim, oh, he's going to be persecuted, he's going to be tortured in Liberia. The whole thing is such a abuse of the immigration legal system by the well-financed law firms that are giving this guy all of this legal help that the average American citizen couldn't even begin to get. And what seems to me is, now this is a consequence of Judge Paula Zenas, who was trying to put the Department of Justice in sort of a catch-22. I mean, at first she said, well, you can't tell us where he's going to be deported. And then she said, well, because he doesn't have any plans to be deported to a certain country, I might set him free. Give us some more details on the Paula Zenas angle there.
Well, of course, this is one of the many Obama-appointed judges involved in this case. In fact, it's only Obama-appointed judges when it comes to Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The guy is very lucky when it comes to drawing judicial appointments. Now, she initially, after he was put back into ICE custody, he sued saying that he should be released because a judge in Tennessee, in relation to his criminal human smuggling case, said we agreed to release with pretrial conditions. Now, there is precedent in this country when you have an illegal immigrant and you have a final deportation order and you're trying to figure out where to put them, you typically have 6 months. Well, Abrego Garcia's lawyers did some real legal shenanigans. They claimed that 6-month countdown should actually start in 2019 when he was first detained by immigration authorities. They've claimed that well, even if that's not the case, the fact that there is no actual plan in place to deport Abrego Garcia, well, that means he should be released. And Zenas, the Obama-appointed judge, was seemingly willing to entertain that argument, despite the fact that the first thing she did after the case hit her desk was issue a verbal order to the Trump administration that expressly forbade them from deporting Abrego Garcia until she issued a final ruling in the case. So essentially, it was Paula Zenas, this Democrat appointed judge, who said initially you're not allowed to deport him, and then 2.5 months later said, because you haven't been taking any action to deport him, I think he should be freed. Well, now the Trump administration has taken action to deport him. They found a country willing to accept him. And it's a country, by the way, where they speak English, and they have a constitution that's modeled on the U.S. Constitution. 2 of the things that he was afraid of. They also say that they've received diplomatic assurances from Liberia that Abrego Garcia, as part of a class, anybody who is a third-party immigrant or rather deported individual or refugee, they will all be treated with dignity while in Liberia. This seems to check off pretty much all of the boxes that Abrego Garcia was demanding. Again, it will be interesting to see whether he claims to live in fear of persecution and torture yet again, because it's not his preferred country. Or remember, he wants to go to Costa Rica.
Well, let me put my Nostradamus hat on. I can promise you his lawyers are going to argue that, oh, he could be tortured there. Oh, he could be subject to persecution there. Now, it seems, though, that all they're trying to do is extend this case as long as they possibly can with the help of left-wing judges, because what they want to do is they want to make his deportation take as long as possible so that it sets a pattern, an example for other resistance to deportation of illegal aliens. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, I think that's right. I think there's a certain amount of brinksmanship here between the Trump administration and this sort of amalgamation of left-wing forces that are being represented through these four law firms and Abrego Garcia. And we know that in the first Trump administration, when they had similar things pop up, the Department of Justice just surrendered. Abrego Garcia could have been deported in 2019, but they didn't even pursue this third-party removal option that they're doing now. Now the Trump administration, they're going to fight this thing until the bitter end. And that bitter end, almost certainly, whether it comes from Paula Zinnes realizing she's over her skis, an appellate court reversing whatever decision she comes up with, or even the U.S. Supreme Court, the Trump administration has made clear this time around they're not letting the Democrats win. And if it takes 2 years to get one deportation, then that's what it takes to make our country great again.
Yeah, and the gamesmanship going on by his, well-paid, numerous attorneys, it just seems to be so patently obvious. So, for instance, it would have been in his best interest, not that I'm arguing on behalf of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, but clearly the traffic stop that we revealed, that you broke that story in April of his traffic stop here in Tennessee in November of 2022, Tom, it seemed to be pretty clear that, A, they had probable cause to stop him because he was speeding and he was kind of weaving between lanes, and that as the Tennessee Highway Patrol officer came in and said, you know what he's doing here? He's hauling people for money. That is clearly a violation of federal human smuggling charges. The criminal defense attorneys are trying to claim that, they didn't have probable cause. I don't think that's going to fly, even with these left-wing judges. And if it does, it's, beyond ridiculous. But my point on all this is, as this was all being worked out, there was a deal on the table to deport him to Costa Rica. Now, he's from El Salvador. For a period of time, his family moved to Guatemala, right? He had a 2019 final deportation order with a withholding of removal to Guatemala, according to the judge, not El Salvador. But Costa Rica is right near there. And Costa Rica is, traditionally a very safe country. A lot of Americans go down to Costa Rica. It would have been a good deal for him if his lawyers had cut a deal with the Department of Justice and said, look, plead guilty to human smuggling, deport us to Costa Rica. But that didn't happen. Tell us why that didn't happen, Tom.
Well, it was very interesting. Of course, there was more than a month of negotiations between the prosecutor in Tennessee and the Tennessee criminal defense attorney, Rasco Dean. It all fell apart really without explanation. And in the email, we see this via emails from the prosecutor that he's put into evidence showing how this all came about. And essentially, what happened is the wider Abrego Garcia legal team started being included in these emails. And I'm not saying there was a causal impact, but the next thing you know, the deal was falling apart. There were last-minute requests by Abrego Garcia's side to change language, to add language, to get rid of this part of the criminal indictment and this part of the criminal indictment. And the next thing you knew, the prosecutor said, look, a judge has said he's going to be freed on Friday. We're going back to August 25th now. So he has until Monday to accept this deal, and if not, it is off the table forever. That deal, by the way, he would have served 8 to 14 months, if memory serves, in jail or prison. Then he would have been removed to Costa Rica. And again, by the way, he's already been in jail for months on end. He probably would have done an additional 3 or 4 months and been off to start his new life in a tropical paradise, Costa Rica. But his attorneys, I think, Michael, that they thought they could get him deported to Costa Rica without a criminal conviction.
Bad mistake.
That would have been superior for their client, and that's why their client has been in jail and is now looking at deportation to Liberia.
By the way, Tom, Barry Weiss, the new head of CBS News, when the phone didn't ring, we know it was Barry Weiss offering us 13 minutes to rebut the biased CBS report on Kilmar Abrego Garcia on 60 Minutes. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Michael.
Up next, News Potpourri. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and joint
today.
health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Shanielle Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We're broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, folks, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program. We talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of irony. Well, here's one kind of interesting. A Picasso portrait that was hidden for 80 years was put up for auction. They thought it would sell for $10 million. How much did it sell for? $37 million. I guess that just goes to show you some rich people who collect art have more money than common sense. Well, hey, that's just me. Maybe it's a great looking. Maybe it's a great art, a great painting. Hey, this is kind of fun. So, you know the commercial out there that's played for a couple of NFL broadcasts. It's from the province of Ontario, where they play a clip of Ronald Reagan talking about the dangers of tariffs. Guess what? The Ronald Reagan Foundation is now threatening to sue Canada for improper use of that. I hope they do. I think they'll win. They went through Canada. They probably sue Ontario, I think. So there you go on that one. Okay, this is troubling. We've been talking all day about the problem of illegal aliens who can't speak English and don't know how to driving trucks, big commercial trucks, and killing people. I mean, so many of these. California has issued 62,000 commercial driver licenses to illegal aliens who can't speak English and don't know how to drive. There's another story today, a different story in Indiana. An illegal alien, the mugshot of this guy looks like he's Serbian or something like that. An illegal alien who spoke broken English, operating a big rig without a commercial driver's license, basically was charged in a deadly crash. He's currently being held on an ICE detainer. Well, he should be. In news of be careful what you wish for. Remember Barry Weiss? Yeah, she just has taken the New York Times reporter who's kind of, I don't know, center left, maybe center right, depending. Barry Weiss, age 41, who started the Free Press, sold it to the new company that owns CBS News, Skydance, for like $150 million. Congratulations, by the way, Barry, for that. And remember now, she went into the 60 Minutes and told these guys, hey, you're biased, shape up. And then they did a biased report on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. It was so bad. How bad was it? We've done extensive reporting on the due process given Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We've asked Barry Weiss to get 13 minutes to rebut the bias report about Kilmar Abrego Garcia from Scott Pelley and Erez Raveni, the DOJ attorney who was fired. Haven't heard from her, I know. But here's this, be careful what you wish for. This is from the Daily Mail. CBS News anti-woke new boss is eyeing Jewel and Fox News crown to take over troubled evening news show. The new editor-in-chief of CBS News wants Fox News anchor Bret Baier to helm the channel's flagship evening news program. Barry Weiss floated the special report star's name along with several others during a high-level talks meant to find a fresh face for the broadcaster after Maurice Dubois and John Dickerson stepped in for Nora O'Donnell in January. Ratings for CBS News have dropped from 4.8 million to 4.1 million since. Well, that's no surprise. They were just going down big time. Basically, she wants to bring Bret Baier to be the anchor of the CBS Evening News. That is not a good plan. It's not a good plan at all. Bret Baier is well suited to being the anchor of Fox News, but he's not that strong on his own. I'm just going to tell you this. He did okay. He does okay, but it wouldn't work. It would not be. He's best suited to being the anchor of Fox News. And Barry, I think you got some good ideas. I'll tell you who'd be great to anchor the CBS Evening News. I'm available, Barry. Yours truly. I'm putting my hand up here. Barry, you want a good anchor for CBS Evening News who'll change things and who will bring your ratings up? I'll do it. And we'll bring our own team in. And it will be good. And people will watch it. But, Barry, you're not even returning my calls. So about 60 minutes. So I don't think that's likely to happen. But we do a great job. What else is going on here? There's been a perp walk, another perp walk for a Trump opponent. Letitia James has been arraigned on charges of mortgage fraud. These are federal charges, so okay. What else we have? Oh, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it's up. How about that? Up 600 points. And even though Donald Trump is building a new East Wing ballroom, how about that? Donald Trump has also issued a statement about San Francisco. Remember, he was going to send the National Guard into San Francisco? No. Oh, we've got some breaking news here. He's not going to send them in. Okay, we've got some breaking local Tennessee news. I think I have time for it. I hope I can get this in. Breaking story. Former Hickson representative Robin Smith has been sentenced to prison 8 months for her role in a corruption conspiracy. She's the one who basically told on former Speaker Glenn Casada and others. 8 months in prison. Okay, that was the deal she cut. That's it. That is our show for today. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. I hope you have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.